Hi there, I'm KYNGATHAMONSTAS. I'm an interdisciplinary artist, performer, offering oracle through storytelling in many different ways.
Wow, where are you from, my friend?
I'm originally from New York, mostly based in Brooklyn, and I've been moving around quite a bit in the last few years and really liking UK, so I'm mirroring our ancestor here. He's right. UK's got something where everything that's going to happen and is possible in terms of music, wellness, tech, and the convergence of these things really being laying the groundwork and the root work for things to be life affirming, I feel like. Which is like, to piggyback on your concepts, when I read your description, I was like, wherever this person is going to speak, I want to speak, because the most amazing part of forming part of this budding industry and connecting more with women and artists and non-binary folks and people who are more connected to the indigenous space and fashion, it's like I feel like there's a lot of industry and a lot of people that are critical to the evolution of society that are not really appreciated tangibly. And all of us coming together in this way and literally building the system, by the time everyone else catches up, we have a chance to turn the tide. So I'm here to be part of that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Welcome to join our community.
So well said. I'm Elena Nazarov. I'm co-founder of Lizo and DAO, and we are a decentralized autonomous organization for artists and creatives from all over the world. And yeah, we give opportunity to artists and really creative people from small villages in Africa, in Russia, in Ukraine, co-create together and participate in bigger projects. And it's amazing. I'm really honored every day. I see such amazing people in the space. So many women also. It's awesome. Usually, Web3 is, it's beginning with a lot of guys and guys and guys. And we're based in Berlin. I went last week to Web3 gathering, and it was men and men and men and men and men, and then it became metaverse and creatives, and suddenly there is so many talented women. So for me, it's like,
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm also quite excited about your project in Africa. So could you tell us a bit more?
well, we are onboarding talented kids, talented designers from all over the world. So every day, basically, this is my role. I'm looking through all social medias, and I find people not based on how many followers they have, but really based on the quality of their art. And to me personally, it's really, really important to really find some talented kids everywhere. And we have people from South Africa. I make a point, I connect personally. It's not, I know that everything is going to be run through smart contracts, and it's all great. I come from traditional world where I call people, I talk to them, everybody have my WhatsApp number, and and I love it. But to me, this is what it is. To me, Metaverse, it's not the world where we're going to escape. It's really an extension of that beautiful thing we have here. And we can just build we can build better extension, but we can build great extensions that help us to experience better. This is what we have here.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful.
Hi, I'm Lydia Smith. I'm a sculptor. I have 11 years experience in sculpting. I've primarily worked in the film industry and have worked on films such as Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Doctor Strange. I've also represented Great Britain in international snow and ice carving championships in Switzerland and China. And now I'm a full-time artist working in the physical and digital space to create sculpture.
That's wonderful. Before you pass on the mic, I just want to dig a little bit deeper. You mentioned about Star Wars and Game of Thrones. Tell us more. That sounds amazing.
So you've all watched Game of Thrones. I'm not going to even
I'm
so the main thing that I worked on was when the dragons come in and destroy King's Landing.
Oh wow.
I was destroying King's Landing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the Star Wars opening scene with all the trees and the Millennium Falcon was built on stage, and Doctor Strange 2, there's lots of my work in there, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, full-time artist right now, and I love it. So yeah, it's great.
Incredible, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Adriana. I'm a fashion artist with a huge background in Web2 as an art director and fashion illustrator. I discovered NFTs early last year and I jumped on it with full heart because I knew that was something I felt I was belonging to for most of my life, as I'm a mixed media artist as well and also a musician, and I've always dabbled into creation of mixed media digital productions, and I believe I've probably been one of the first, or if not, I'm not mistaken, first fashion illustrator in Web3 and NFTs, and also starting my first fashion illustration collection, and followed by first fashion illustration physical exhibition as well, solo exhibition. So since that, I've been venturing further, and I have bigger plans. I'd love to talk about it later, but this is exactly why I'm into NFTs, because it's just a wonderful community, and I'd love to contribute what I've learned with Web2, working with big fashion global brands, into our Web3.
Thank you, that's wonderful. You mentioned about community, and you know how to let the wider world know some of the very exciting and innovative things we're doing. Do you have any thoughts? How can we reach out to engage the world so they know, we're doing something really awesome?
Yes, I think it was really interesting because someone was talking earlier about Clubhouse, and I think that was like the very beginning of my journey as well. It really saved me during the pandemic. Well, I think consistency is the key, obviously, and being on online platforms. I mean, that's no brainer, obviously, Twitter, LinkedIn, but I think the events like this as well are very crucial. And well, I quite rapidly grew on Twitter, which was really crazy compared to years of, for example, being on Instagram, and then realizing that Web3 community has so much potential because it brings a lot of people who are very open-minded and also very creative. If you're like an artist or creative person, I think there's something about that people who are involved in this industry are very open-minded, and I think that will help us grow in general. So I think just being consistently out there and really talking about yourself, and also how can you serve this community, how can you bring your skill set into the Web3 is, I think, crucial, because obviously we start from somewhere, like we all have skill sets or we have expertise, we work in certain industries, but I think just trying to get on board other people from, let's say, Web2 into Web3, I think that's where the goal is right now, and that's also what I'm trying to aim at, just by being an artist for myself, and obviously releasing my new collections. I want to, well, right now I'm venturing into creating my own NFT agency, like a creative agency as an NFT consultant, which I've done already for a couple of fashion brands as well. But this is what really, inspires me at the moment. So I think that's how we build a community as well, just by talking about it and trying to make something like a fluid transition from that Web2, which is understanding for our current audience.
That's wonderful, thank you. Nanda.
Hi everyone. My name is Nanda Khiara. I'm a fine art artist based out of London now. I've exhibited both at the Florence Biennale and the London Art Biennale. Currently I'm working on 2 projects. The first project is an art DAO. I think it was Ashley asking who's raised the money, so I'm very proud to say I'm closing my second round. But very small amounts, not huge amounts, but it's the art DAO with 4 other people. It's part of a company called Units. Really excited. And it has been set up to help artists. So if anyone is an artist out here, please get in touch with me. I can talk about it. Last week we had a Twitter space, like one of my colleagues earlier said on the panel. Lots of Twitter spaces, lots of Twitter banners, posts, and so on. And we had Marcus Sorituro on our Twitter space, but I think he's gone out right now. So that was a lovely Twitter space. So yeah, reach out to me if you're interested in an artist. And the second project I'm working on is sustainability. I'm very passionate about Web3, Metaverse, and smart cities. I believe smart cities should be art cities. And I'm keenly working towards it, but I'm working towards a sustainability angle. And I want to show proof of impact. I don't want to show, I traditionally have art of giving as part of my ethos. I always donate paintings or something that I can to various charities. The last painting donated was to Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in RBKC. But sometimes I can't see the proof of impact. So the next project that I'm working on is sustainability with the proof of impact. Watch the space, and I'm really working towards what Alan Boyd said earlier. I am not going into this as buy to trade, it's buy to hold. I'm a fine art artist. You need to hold on to my pieces alongside with the NFTs. So thank you. That's
That's
me.
wonderful. And you mentioned about the smart city, especially an art city. So how would this beautiful art city look like to you?
Wow. So I did this, the last Metaverse Week, which was held in June. I spoke at the House of Lords, and the way I believe cities should be built, smart cities should be art cities. What I mean is, I'm going to give you an example of my borough because I can relate to it and I've seen it taking place. It's the RBKC borough. What they've done is they've infused in each and every public building, be it if it's a library, be it if it's an office building, be it if it's a hospital, they have infused it with art. I'm an ambassador for mentoring young children in RBKC because traditionally and historically, I think all of you will agree, the saying is be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an accountant, be a banker, be anything, but don't be an artist. So the borough believes that these young people need an extra sort of, they need a voice, and the way they get the voice across is by art, and they want to give the young people another opportunity to use it. So I go around the schools and I speak to all the stakeholders. So if you've got the headmaster, the parents, the teachers, you show them how you can do art and what the opportunities are. I can go on and on because I'm so passionate about it. Should I step up? I'm sorry.
No, I think you raise a really important point because I once visited a university. They are really strong for artificial intelligence. So I had a conversation with the president. So I was saying, in the world of automation, a large number of people will be losing their jobs, especially if to do with labor. So he said, you don't need to worry too much. We're actually planning to working with the Academy of Arts in the same city, and we are going to develop some really innovative, like a curriculum to teach the next generation how to be creative. So the originality and the ability to imagine, to reinvent among our children could help us to survive or even prosper in the age of automation. So I want to throw this question to the panel. So what do you think we can do to really cultivate creativity of our children in the Web3 space? So I'm not talking about traditional playing piano, doing drawings, maybe NFT designing, or teach them to do like a metaverse designing. What do you think?
I'm very passionate about it because I have children. I think we all born being extremely creative. I think everyone is extremely unique and extremely creative. And I think the education system kills that creativity. By the age of 10, it's done. It's not good to be creative any longer, you have to follow. So I think it is all about really reinventing. And we don't need to teach people to be creative, we just have to nurture them to explore that creativity and just really thrive on that. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Critical thinking is paramount. I mean, look at like Pythagoras, Leonardo da Vinci, Piero della Francesca. These are polymaths. They're creative thinkers as well as scientists, and I think that's really important. Which, again, as you say, the educational system is heavily oppressed. I went to a grammar school. I was really happy to pass 11+ and get into that, and I was mocked for enjoying art as a subject. Actually, it was quite denounced. They really do push you for academic subjects as if art isn't a part of that. And I think to increase that in a level of the children in the educational system is paramount to what we believe as Dr. is going towards the next golden age in society is that unity of art, science and philosophy is the three pillars of human perception.
I agree with you entirely. Actually, Imperial College London and the Royal College of Arts, they already have a double master degree for 2 years teaching people about design thinking. So that's already happening, but I think maybe we should do that a little bit earlier, all the way from nursery, or maybe primary school.
Can I please add one more thing, because I've got the proof of what art can do for young people. Again, I'm going to go back to my borough where Mayor Pascal appointed me as an ambassador to the kids. What the borough found was previously the mental health issues that were coming with young people was from the ages of 12, 13, 14, 15, but nowadays with the impact of social media, as we all know, TikTok and Instagram and so on, these young people, there is mental challenges from the ages of 6, 7, 8, and what the borough now therefore is trying to do is infuse art into younger people so they can speak through art. Art is being given to them as a platform where they can express themselves. They're too young to sometimes verbally say it, exactly what you were saying earlier, the critical thinking and so on, but they're too young to express themselves like we as adults can, so they need an additional sort of medium to be able to express themselves, and that is what we are doing. And I can tell you, we've got the proof that it does work. We have done it already, so that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
I'm super grateful to hear what you're working on, like everyone that's on this panel, because in reality, I think what comes up for me, in order to really allow children to do what they come here to do, I feel like really the first step is to respect them as beings that chose to come here. They don't belong to parents, they don't belong to their school. They literally have solutions that we can't even imagine if we come out of our arrogance and accept that they're the ones that are going to build it. So it's really repositioning ourselves into how can we be of service to this voice that's developing, instead of suppressing the voice or trying to alter the voice or make it be something that clearly doesn't work. So I feel that is actually one of the biggest, most like life-changing things we can do for children. It's just like they are being side by side with us, you know? So I think that's one of the biggest things, and part of me wants to come back because I'm digesting all of the things that were being said here and just feeling super grateful because even like in, I think it was like when you were mentioning your project, it's like I just turned 33. It took me over 33 years just to sit at this point where I was able to embrace, you know, I am an artist. I don't feel like, you know, and it's not like I didn't know that. It's just that everyone was constantly pushing another agenda, whether it was like originally like religious oppression of like the highest kind, or other complications that come with, you know, being an immigrant or being a person of color or just being alternative, to the point where we're calling each other as having like mental problems, but we don't have mental problems. It's that the system is mental. So we're not recognizing that just like if you go to the soil, you know, like, and you look through the soil, there's all these different, it's a whole ecosystem with all these different little creatures and, you know, things that operate in ways that we don't systematically, but it's a life affirming circuitry that is constantly creating and growing. So I don't think people need to be taught to be artists. We are that until the point where they cut us off from that creation, and it's just very suspicious. So I think it's also being more curious, like, wait a second, if, you know, absolving trauma is more about connection, like connecting to self, connecting with community, and expressing freely with zero latency, that is like, ooh, everything is moving. Disconnect is like, we can't express ourselves and we don't feel connected. And so whether it's in Web3 or in the physical world, it feels extremely important to be able to make space for expression. And that with children as a baseline to reform will have a massive impact down the road on how we connect and collaborate and create. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I resonate so highly with everything that's been said, and I'm going to go and talk about funding. If the government and the school systems keep cutting funding to art subjects, we're not going to get any more innovative thinking. Like these chairs that we're sat on wouldn't exist. So if the government's not going to help us and the future generations, then I implore the companies that are sat out there that have the means to support these children in these schools at whatever like stage they're at. Like, go to these schools, approach them saying, I want to give you some funding for the art classes, let them have, like, I'm a sculptor and I didn't get to officially play with clay until I was about 13, like, because we just didn't have the funding. It was like, it's all 2D, this is this, this is that, we don't have a kiln, we don't have that. And also there's a workshop that I teach to children and adults. It's called the No Intentions Workshop, where you just get 3 objects in front of you and you just copy them in clay, and within 45 minutes, like 7-year-old children were saying to me, oh, I don't think it's very good, like I'm not as good as them. I was like, this whole process isn't about you comparing yourself to someone else. It's not about you saying whether you're good or not. It's just 45 minutes that you're going to take out of your day to get tactile and then leave it. And like, you've got something at the end of it. And all of these children made these sculptures, like tabletop size, that I could envision, blown up large scale to be monumental sculptures or AR, it was amazing. So, funding please, like that's just what I want to say.
Thank you. Lucy.
Yes, I always believe fashion is where women put their feeling into. So when it comes to Metaverse, I think children, as a mother myself, I think children, all my kids now in university, I always believe Metaverse should be a place where kids can get together, do their homework and interact with each other. Regardless their culture, where they're from, we are from one country, United States of the world. United Kingdom. So we are from different places, so we get interact together and the kids should be able to actually have a homework in Metaverse. I think that would be really cool.
That's wonderful conclusion for this beautiful, beautiful panel. Sorry.
Yeah. Can I just say, I was an accountant for 12 years, really stuck in non-creativity mode, and I'm only just coming out of that now. And thank you, Valkyrie and everybody else, for putting on these things, because I've never felt more myself among a group of people than this Web3 creativity. It's just epic, and more people should know about it. So yeah, I think to help the kids, put them in a space where they most feel themselves and ask them that question, where is that?
Thank you. Anybody else?
I totally agree with everything that's been said, and totally can relate as well. My journey as an artist and musician, but I think what's also amazing about Web3 and to touch on like the metaverse as well is that aspect of digital, which hasn't been spoken a lot, I think, today, that there's fear about metaverse and uncertainty of how is it going to impact us maybe as humankind as well, and obviously not getting too lost in the digital space. But I think what's the huge potential within the metaverse is obviously the connection, the global connection. You can build, friendships, business partners all over the world. There's no limitations to that. And that's also touching up the subject of schooling and children, I think. The people who are, maybe not based in the first world countries right now, they will have the access, thanks to the metaverse and Web3 communities now, to actually expand and have the same opportunities if someone was going to school in London. And I'm saying that as a first generation immigrant myself, who moved to London to pursue my dreams as a fashion illustrator in the top world university, Royal College of Fashion. But it really was, I had to be privileged to get to that point, if that makes sense. So I had, access to learning English or, financial as well, resources. But a lot of people who maybe as talented as I was, or, as a kid, they will never get the point. So now it's changing, and we can help that change as well. So I think the digital aspect is what's going to be huge of that as well, is that it doesn't have to, that we will have to be stuck now for the digital era for the rest of our lives. It's more about what excites me personally as a creative person, is how can I merge these worlds together. So what you said about the community earlier is that I feel by creating a product that's also accessible both in the metaverse as well as in a physical space, it's gonna grow this community in a bigger world, I think.
That's wonderful. any other panelists want to comment on this?
I wanted to add
Okay,
something,
yeah.
just based on, yeah, what you were saying. Digital is amazing, but also made me think that, I think as a DAOs, a really big believer in DAOs. Because us coming together as community, and that's what we're doing today, but us coming together as a community and supporting projects, creating different tools, and maybe not waiting for government any longer to provide, but ourselves provide the tools and educational tools and create new educational systems and so on that will really empower our children. So we're more, the beauty of Web3, I think, is that becoming decentralized, we're also becoming really more on control. And we can create whatever we want. We don't need to ask anyone, wait for anyone. And for me, again, Metaverse is not about big companies. It's not about Coca-Cola being in the Metaverse, you know. It's really about bringing designers or bringing creatives from all over the world and giving them opportunity to co-create together something completely new and sustainable way that benefit this world rather than take and profit. Because I think we all need to think about future and what we want to give rather than what we want to take. Yeah.
Wow, I've got too much energy to sit down. This is crazy. This is the new world. This is it. Like every single country is coming together right now, and this is an era of redemption. It's actually incredible. Wow, thank you everyone. This is crazy.
Let's invite our very important Alan Boyd to the stage for a nice photo. Sorry, next time I could poke that for you, I promise. No, everyone, all the speakers.